Marriage is supposed to be a firewall, not a revolving door. At least, that's what I used to think before I discovered my wife Vanessa had turned our relationship into a public Wi-Fi network, open access for anyone willing to connect. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. My name is Ethan Miller, and I'm a cybersecurity consultant in Seattle. 34 years old, decent salary, boring personality according to my wife's Instagram stories. I spend my days protecting other people's digital lives while my own was being systematically destroyed by someone who shared my bed. The morning everything changed started like any other Tuesday in our Capitol Hill apartment. Vanessa was staging her breakfast for her travel blog followers, arranging organic blueberries on artisanal toast while complaining about the lighting. "Ethan, you're in my shot again," she snapped, not looking up from her phone. "Can you work somewhere else today?" I grabbed my coffee and laptop. "Sure thing, honey. Wouldn't want to ruin your authentic lifestyle content with my actual life." She didn't catch the sarcasm. She never did anymore. That's when I noticed her phone buzzing incessantly on the counter. Message after message lighting up the screen. The contact name made my stomach drop. Lucas Grant, the adventure photographer she'd been collaborating with for the past 3 months. Tall, rugged, drove a yellow Jeep Wrangler, and had the kind of Instagram presence that made suburban moms forget they were married. "Your phone's going crazy," I said, testing the waters. Vanessa lunged for it with suspicious urgency. "Oh, that's just work stuff. Boring technical things about the Montana shoot." Technical things. Right. Because landscape photography required heart emojis and midnight conversations. I retreated to my home office, but the walls in our apartment were thin. Through the door, I could hear her giggling at whatever Lucas was sending, the same laugh she used to save for me. My computer screen showed 17 security alerts from various clients, but I couldn't focus. Something was eating at me, a digital itch I couldn't scratch. In my line of work, you develop instincts about when systems are compromised. My marriage was throwing up red flags like a firewall under attack. Around noon, Vanessa's best friend Gemma called. I was in the kitchen grabbing lunch when I overheard the conversation. "Girl, you're glowing lately," Gemma's voice carried through the speaker. "This thing with Lucas is really working for you." "I know, right? It's like I'm finally alive again. After all those boring nights with Ethan, I forgot what excitement felt like." My sandwich turned to cardboard in my mouth. "When are you going to tell him?" Gemma asked. "Soon, maybe after the Yellowstone trip. I just need to figure out the logistics. Lucas thinks we should go public with everything." Go public with everything. I set my plate down carefully, my hands surprisingly steady. In cybersecurity, we have a term for this moment, the breach detection point. The exact second you realize your defenses have failed and someone's been inside your system, stealing your data, corrupting your files. That afternoon, while Vanessa was at her yoga class, I did something I'd never done before. I became the kind of husband I'd always despised, the kind who snoops through his wife's phone. She'd left it charging on the nightstand, and for once, she'd forgotten to enable the lock screen timeout. The device was wide open, like she was practically inviting discovery. The first thing I saw was her message thread with Lucas. 3 months of increasingly intimate conversations, photos I won't describe, plans I couldn't ignore, but what really destroyed me weren't the explicit details, it was the casual cruelty. "Ethan's working late again. God, he's so predictable. Can't wait to get away from my pathetic husband. Montana can't come fast enough. He actually tried to be romantic last night." I almost laughed. How did I marry someone so boring? Pathetic. Boring. Predictable. I screenshotted everything. Old habits from my profession. Always preserve evidence before the system crashes. But the real gut punch came when I checked her Instagram drafts. A post scheduled for the next morning, A selfie of her and Lucas at SeaTac Airport with the caption, "Husbands are always so pathetic when they don't know how to keep a woman interested. Off to find some real adventure. Living my best life. No regrets." She was planning to humiliate me publicly while jetting off with her photographer boyfriend. I closed the phone and sat on our bed. My bed, since I'd been paying the rent while she built her brand, and felt something cold settle in my chest. Not heartbreak, exactly. More like the calm that comes when a system administrator realizes the network is compromised beyond repair and it's time to implement the nuclear option. Scorched Earth Protocol. I opened my laptop and started typing. Not an angry email or a confrontational text. Something much more methodical. A plan that would make her pathetic husband look like a cybersecurity genius and turn her public humiliation fantasy into her worst nightmare. Because here's the thing about firewalls. They don't just keep threats out. When properly configured, they can burn down everything trying to get through them. And I'd just become very interested in proper configuration. The next morning, Vanessa bounced around the apartment like a teenager preparing for prom. Her suitcase lay open on our bed, filled with carefully curated outfits for her work trip to Montana. "You seem excited about this photography project," I said, sipping my coffee and watching her pack. "Oh, you know me. I love exploring new places." She held up a black lace negligee. "Think this is too much for hiking shots?" The audacity was almost impressive. She was packing lingerie for her affair and asking my opinion. "Definitely practical for outdoor photography," I replied. "I'm sure Lucas will appreciate your professional dedication." She paused, searching my face for suspicion, but I'd perfected my poker expression during years of client meetings. Nothing to see here, just boring, predictable Ethan. "We should probably talk when I get back," she said, zipping the suitcase. "About us, I mean. I've been thinking about some changes." "Changes sound good. I've been thinking about some myself." She kissed my cheek, a gesture so casual and dismissive it felt like a slap. "Love you, babe. Don't wait up tonight. We have an early flight." After she left, I called my best friend Mike, a freelance hacker who specialized in corporate security testing. If anyone could help me execute what I was planning, it was him. "Ethan, my man," Mike answered. "What's shaking in the boring married guy world?" "I need your help with something. Can you come over?" "Sure, but you sound weird. Everything okay?" "Just bring your laptop and that thing you do where you make people's digital lives very uncomfortable." An hour later, Mike sat in my living room, scrolling through the evidence I'd compiled. His expression shifted from amusement to anger to professional admiration. "Dude, she's not just cheating. She's planning to destroy your reputation while she does it." He pointed at the Instagram draft. "This is sociopathic. Can you help me or not?" Mike cracked his knuckles. "Oh, I can help. But are you sure you want to go nuclear? There's no coming back from this. She already went nuclear. I'm just returning fire." We spent the afternoon building what Mike called the most beautifully vindictive digital operation he'd ever designed. Nothing illegal. I wasn't interested in jail time. But perfectly legal activities that would expose every dirty secret, every lie, every cruel comment. First, we cloned Vanessa's social media accounts using her saved passwords. Not to impersonate her, but to schedule posts from her actual accounts using her own words and photos. Second, we compiled a comprehensive dossier of her affair, including screenshots of her mocking her sponsors, bragging about manipulating brand partnerships, and making fun of her followers behind their backs. Third, we identified every sponsor, brand partner, and professional contact in her network. People who paid her for authenticity and wholesome travel content. People who might be interested to know their spokesperson was a fraud. "The beauty of this," Mike explained, "is that we're not creating anything false. We're just ensuring her authentic self gets the audience it deserves." That evening, while Vanessa was having her last dinner in Seattle with Lucas, I visited my sister Maya at her law firm. She worked as a paralegal for one of the city's most aggressive divorce attorneys. "I need to file papers," I told her. "Tonight." Maya looked up from her case files. "Ethan, what's going on? You look terrible." I showed her the evidence. All of it. Maya's expression hardened as she read through the messages. "That manipulative little—" She caught herself. "Sorry. Professional mode. Yes, we can file tonight. Ava Reeves is still in the office and she lives for cases like this." Ava Reeves turned out to be a sharp-dressed woman in her 40s, with the predatory smile of someone who'd built a career destroying unfaithful spouses in court. "Mr. Miller," she said, reviewing the evidence, "your wife has made several critical errors. First, she documented everything. Second, she's planning to commit adultery in a state with fault-based divorce laws. Third, she's about to humiliate you publicly, which shows intent to cause emotional distress. What does that mean for me? It means you're going to own everything. The apartment, the savings, her business assets, even the revenue from her blog and social media accounts. She's essentially gift-wrapped her entire life and handed it to you." We filed the papers that night. By morning, while Vanessa was boarding her flight to Montana, the legal machinery was already in motion. But the real show wouldn't start until she was in the air, posting her pathetic husband content for the world to see. That's when Mike and I would introduce her followers to the real Vanessa Grant, because she'd already changed her last name on her private accounts, planning to surprise me with divorce papers when she returned. Surprise indeed. Vanessa's flight took off at 6 a.m. on a Thursday. By 6:15, she was posting Instagram stories from first class, courtesy of Lucas's photography budget. By 6:30, she'd published her scheduled post about pathetic husbands, complete with a selfie that showed her looking radiant and free. The post got immediate attention. Heart-eye emojis from her followers, supportive comments from women who thought she was finally living her truth. Vanessa was probably feeling vindicated, watching the likes roll in while I sat at home, supposedly oblivious to her grand exit. She had no idea I was watching too. At exactly 7 a.m. Pacific time, when Vanessa would be landing in Bozeman and checking her phone, Mike initiated what we'd code-named Operation Transparency. The first wave hit her Instagram account. A new post appeared, using photos from her private messages with Lucas. Not the explicit ones, we weren't interested in revenge porn, but the ones that showed them together in intimate, clearly romantic settings, paired with screenshots of her messages mocking her sponsors and followers. The caption, written entirely in her own words, pulled from various private conversations, read, "Finally ready to show you the real me. I've been lying to you about my marriage, my travels, and my partnerships. Here's what I really think about the brands that pay me and the followers who support me." Below that were her actual quotes. "These idiots will buy anything if you put it in front of a mountain." My followers are so basic, they think Olive Garden is fine dining. Can't believe brand name pays me $5,000 to pretend I use their stupid skincare line. The post went live across all her platforms simultaneously: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. Within minutes, her phone was probably exploding. But we weren't done. The second wave targeted her professional network. Every sponsor, brand partner, and collaboration contact received an email with a comprehensive report titled Influencer Due Diligence Report, Vanessa Miller. The report included screenshots of her disparaging comments about their products, evidence of her violating exclusivity agreements by working with competitors, and documentation of her fraudulent relationship status. One sponsor had specifically paid her to promote marriage wellness retreats. Hard to do that while publicly cheating on your husband. The third wave was the most elegant. Mike had programmed her accounts to post updates every 30 minutes throughout the day, using her own words from private messages. Each post revealed another layer of her deception, another cruel comment, another lie she'd told her audience. By 8 a.m., her comment sections were war zones, followers demanding explanations, sponsors threatening legal action, fellow influencers distancing themselves from the scandal. My phone rang at 8:47 a.m., Vanessa's name on the screen. "Hi, honey," I answered. "How's Montana?" "What the hell did you do?" she screamed. "My accounts are posting things I never— How are you? This is impossible." "I'm not sure what you mean. I'm just sitting here drinking coffee, being pathetic and predictable. Like always." "Ethan, I swear to God, if you don't fix this right now—" "Fix what? Your accounts are just showing people who you really are. Isn't that what influencers are supposed to do? Be authentic?" I could hear Lucas in the background, his voice panicked. "The brands are calling. They're pulling everything. How is this happening?" "You know what's funny, Vanessa? I actually learned something from you about social media. It's all about timing and audience engagement. And right now, you're trending." She was crying now, her voice breaking. "Please, Ethan. I know this looks bad, but we can work this out. Just make it stop." "Oh, this isn't me making anything happen. This is just your authentic self finally getting the platform it deserves. Isn't that what you wanted? To stop pretending?" I hung up and immediately blocked her number. Mike looked up from his laptop. "Dude, you're ice cold. I'm actually impressed. I'm just getting started." By noon, Asha Vanessa Miller was trending on Twitter, but not in a good way. Screenshots of her posts were being shared across social media with commentary ranging from shocked disappointment to savage mockery. Her follower count was dropping by the thousands, but the real masterpiece was still coming. At 2 p.m., I published a blog post on Medium titled "The Cybersecurity Expert's Guide to Digital Infidelity, a Case Study." I didn't name Vanessa directly, but I detailed exactly how I'd discovered the affair, documented the evidence, and used her own digital footprint to expose her deception. The post included technical details about digital security, relationship red flags, and legal advice for betrayed spouses. It was educational, professional, and completely devastating to anyone who knew the parties involved. Within hours, it had been shared thousands of times. Cybersecurity professionals were calling it brilliant. Divorce attorneys were bookmarking it as a resource. And Seattle's tight-knit social media influencer community was dissecting every detail. My phone started ringing with interview requests from local news stations, podcasts, and tech blogs. Everyone wanted to talk to the cybersecurity expert who'd turned his wife's affair into a masterclass in digital justice. But I wasn't done yet. The real finale was scheduled for 6 p.m., when Vanessa and Lucas would be checking into their romantic Montana hotel, probably planning to lay low until the scandal died down. That's when they'd discover I'd booked the same hotel room for the same dates 6 months ago, using the credit card Vanessa didn't know I'd been monitoring. The reservation was in both our names, with a note about celebrating our anniversary. The hotel staff would be very confused when the other woman showed up with a different man, claiming to be Mrs. Miller. But the absolute perfect touch? I'd arranged for a local process server to be waiting in the lobby with divorce papers and a restraining order preventing Vanessa from accessing any of our shared accounts or assets. She wanted to surprise me with divorce papers when she got back to Seattle. I decided to save her the trip. The call came at 6:23 p.m. Pacific time. Not from Vanessa, I'd blocked her number, but from Lucas, using a number I didn't recognize. "You sick freak," he shouted into the phone. "What kind of psychopath does this to his own wife?" "The kind whose wife publicly called him pathetic while planning to destroy his reputation," I replied calmly. "How's Montana, Lucas? Hotel treating you well?" "You can't do this. This is harassment. This is legal. Everything I've done is completely legal. Unlike adultery, which is actually illegal in Montana. Did you know that?" I looked it up. The silence stretched for several seconds. Then, "She loves me, man. She was going to leave you anyway. This isn't going to change anything." "You're right. She was going to leave me, after humiliating me publicly and taking half my assets. Now she's leaving with nothing but a ruined reputation and a boyfriend who's about to discover what it's like to date someone with no income." "You don't understand. We're in love. Love? Lucas, I've read your private messages. You've been cheating on her with 2 other influencers. Should I tell her about Madison and Chloe, or do you want to handle that conversation yourself? Another long silence. Then the line went silent. My sister Maya called 20 minutes later. Ethan, what did you do? Vanessa's lawyer just called Ava, screaming about harassment and demanding we reverse the divorce filing. Can they do that? Not a chance. Especially not after what happened today. Her public meltdown actually strengthened our case. The judge is going to love this. What do you mean? She's been posting increasingly unhinged responses to the scandal all day, blaming you, threatening lawsuits, calling her followers names for abandoning her. She's basically documenting her own emotional instability in real time. I pulled up her Instagram. Maya was right. Vanessa's recent posts were a disaster. Angry rants about betrayal, desperate attempts to explain the leaked messages, and increasingly hostile responses to former fans who were asking legitimate questions. The woman who'd built her brand on aspirational lifestyle content and positive vibes was melting down in public, and every word was being screenshotted and shared. There's something else, Maya continued. 3 of her former sponsors are considering lawsuits for breach of contract and fraud. They paid her to promote products to married women, and she was lying about her relationship status the entire time. How much money are we talking about? Enough to make her bankruptcy very public and very messy. That night, I finally felt something approaching peace. Not happiness. I wasn't happy about any of this. But the constant anxiety, the nagging feeling that something was wrong, the self-doubt about my own instincts, all of that was gone. I'd been living in a compromised system for months, watching my life get corrupted by malicious code. Now I'd finally run a full system restore. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. This isn't over. You'll pay for what you did to her. Probably Lucas, trying to sound threatening. I forwarded the message to Maya and Ava, then blocked the number. In cybersecurity, we have protocols for handling threats. Document everything, implement additional security measures, and never negotiate with bad actors. I was done negotiating. The Seattle tech community is smaller than people think. By Friday morning, everyone in my professional network had read my Medium post or heard about the scandal through social media. My phone was ringing constantly with job offers, interview requests, and invitations to speak at conferences about digital privacy and relationship security. Apparently, turning your cheating wife's affair into a cybersecurity case study was excellent marketing for a freelance consultant. But the real validation came from an unexpected source: Vanessa's former followers. Her Instagram comments section had become a support group for people who'd been betrayed by partners, friends, or business associates. They were sharing their own stories, offering advice, and thanking me for exposing someone they'd trusted with their money and attention. I bought so many products because of her recommendations, one woman wrote. She seemed so genuine and happy in her marriage. Finding out it was all fake makes me question everything. Another comment hit even harder. My husband left me last year, and I followed Vanessa because her content made me believe in love again. Knowing she was cheating this whole time while posting about marriage goals feels like another betrayal. These weren't just abstract followers. They were real people who'd been emotionally manipulated by someone they trusted. Vanessa hadn't just lied to me. She'd built her entire career on a lie that affected thousands of people. Mike came over Friday evening with pizza and beer, ready to celebrate what he was calling the most elegant digital takedown in Seattle history. Dude, you're famous, he said, showing me his laptop. Look at this. He'd pulled up a Reddit thread in r pro revenge with over 50,000 upvotes. Someone had compiled the entire story from social media posts, news articles, and my Medium piece. The comments were overwhelmingly supportive. This is how you handle a cheating spouse in the digital age. That cybersecurity post should be required reading for anyone in a relationship. Plot twist: The boring husband was actually a mastermind. I showed this to my wife. We're both deleting our social media accounts. But the comment that made me laugh out loud was, "Imagine being so bad at cheating that you leave all the evidence on your unlocked phone for your cybersecurity expert husband to find. This is like robbing a bank and leaving your driver's license at the scene." "You know what the best part is?" Mike said, scrolling through more comments. "She can't even claim you violated her privacy. She left her phone unlocked, and everything you exposed came from her own public posts or messages she sent voluntarily." "What's the latest from Montana?" "Oh, you're going to love this." Mike pulled up Lucas's Instagram account. "Look at his stories from today." The posts showed Lucas alone in various Montana locations, looking increasingly disheveled and stressed. No sign of Vanessa anywhere. "They broke up?" I asked. "Better, she got arrested." I nearly choked on my beer. "What?" "Apparently she tried to check into the hotel room you'd reserved, got into a screaming match with the front desk staff when they explained the situation, and then attacked the process server when he handed her the divorce papers. Hotel security called the cops." Mike showed me a local news article. "Seattle influencer arrested in Montana, hotel incident." The mugshot showed Vanessa looking nothing like her carefully curated social media presence. Hair disheveled, makeup smeared, expression wild with rage. The charges are assault and disturbing the peace. She spent Thursday night in jail and had to call her parents for bail money. "Where's Lucas?" According to his Instagram stories, he's taking time to reflect on recent events and focus on his art. Translation: he abandoned her the second things got messy and is now trying to salvage his own brand. I should have felt satisfaction, but mostly I felt tired. This woman had been my wife for 3 years. We'd shared dreams, made plans, built a life together. Seeing her reduced to a mugshot and a cautionary tale wasn't the victory I'd imagined. "You okay, man?" Mike asked, noticing my expression. "Yeah, just processing everything. A week ago, I thought I was in a marriage. Now I'm apparently some kind of folk hero for exposing my wife's affair." "You did what you had to do. She would have destroyed your reputation and taken half your assets if you hadn't fought back." He was right, but that didn't make it feel simple. My phone rang. Maya's name on the screen. "Ethan, we need to talk. Can you come to the office tomorrow morning? There's been a development." "Good development or bad development?" "Complicated development. Vanessa wants to make a deal." Saturday morning at Maya's law firm felt like preparing for a final boss battle in a video game. Ava Reeves had transformed the conference room into a war room with printed screenshots, legal documents, and financial records covering every surface. "She's desperate," Ava explained, reviewing her notes. "The arrest made national news, her parents are threatening to cut her off financially, and Lucas has publicly distanced himself from the relationship. She wants to settle quickly and quietly." "What's she offering?" "Everything. She'll sign over all claims to your shared assets, agree to a no-contest divorce, and accept full responsibility for the affair. In exchange, she wants you to stop the social media exposure and issue a public statement saying you've both moved on." Maya leaned forward. "It's a good deal, Ethan. You get everything you wanted legally, and this whole mess goes away." But something about it felt wrong, too easy. In cybersecurity, when a persistent threat suddenly offers to disappear quietly, it usually means they're planning something worse. "What's the catch?" I asked. "She wants to meet with you in person to discuss it. Today. She's flying back from Montana this afternoon." "Absolutely not," I said immediately. "I'm not interested in face-to-face drama." Ava nodded. "That's what I told her lawyer. But she's insisting it's the only way she'll sign the agreement. She says she needs to clear the air with you directly. It's probably a setup. She wants to record me saying something she can use against me later." "That's what I thought too," Maya said. "But her lawyer assured us she just wants closure. And honestly, Ethan, this deal is so favorable to you that it might be worth the risk." I spent an hour reviewing the proposed settlement. Ava was right. It was everything I could have hoped for legally. Vanessa would leave the marriage with nothing but her personal belongings and whatever was left of her destroyed reputation. But I'd learned not to trust anything that seemed too good to be true. Fine, I said finally. But we do this on my terms. Public place, witnesses present, and everything recorded for legal purposes. Where do you want to meet? I thought about it for a moment, then smiled. The coffee shop where we had our first date. Seems appropriate. 3 hours later, I sat in Victrola Coffee on Capitol Hill, waiting for my soon-to-be ex-wife to arrive. Maya and Mike flanked me at nearby tables, and Ava was positioned with a clear view of our table, recording everything on her phone. Vanessa walked in at exactly 4 p.m., and I barely recognized her. Gone was the Instagram-perfect influencer with the designer clothes and professional makeup. This version looked exhausted, defeated, and genuinely broken. She sat down across from me without ordering anything. Hello, Ethan. Vanessa. I suppose you're feeling pretty proud of yourself. I'm feeling like someone who finally stopped being lied to. How's that different? She flinched. I deserve that. I deserve all of this, probably. But did you have to destroy my entire life? I didn't destroy anything. I just made sure people could see what was already there. You humiliated me in front of the entire world. You humiliated yourself. I just provided the platform. She was quiet for a long moment, staring at her hands. When she looked up, there were tears in her eyes. I loved you once, you know. In the beginning. I know. I loved you too. That's what makes this so much worse. Then why can't we just end this quietly? Sign the papers, go our separate ways, try to salvage something from the wreckage? Because you weren't planning to end this quietly, Vanessa. You were planning to destroy my reputation while you rode off into the sunset with your photographer boyfriend. The only reason you want quiet now is because your plan backfired. She nodded slowly. You're right. I was going to hurt you, and I'm sorry for that. I'm sorry for all of it. Are you? Or are you just sorry you got caught? Both, probably. Does it matter? I considered the question. Did it matter? She was offering me everything I wanted legally. The public humiliation was already complete. Her career was over, her relationship with Lucas was finished, and her reputation was permanently destroyed. Maybe it was time to show mercy. Sign the papers, I said. Take the deal. Start over somewhere else and try to be a better person next time. She pulled out a pen and signed the settlement agreement without reading it. For what it's worth, she said, standing to leave, you were never boring or pathetic. You were just safe, and I thought I wanted something more dangerous. How did that work out for you? She laughed bitterly. About as well as you'd expect. After she left, Maya and Ava joined me at the table. It's over, Ava said, reviewing the signed documents. You're officially divorced and you own everything. Congratulations, Maya added. You just won the most one-sided divorce settlement I've ever seen. But I didn't feel like celebrating. I felt empty, drained, like a computer after a complete system wipe. You okay? Mike asked. Yeah, just processing. This time last week I was married. Now I'm single, famous, and apparently rich. What are you going to do next? I looked around the coffee shop where Vanessa and I had met 5 years ago, back when she was a struggling blogger, and I was a junior consultant with dreams of building something together. I think I'm going to disappear for a while. Take some time to figure out who I am when I'm not married to someone who hates me. The internet loves you right now, Mike said. You could probably write a book, start a consulting business, become a speaker. This whole thing has made you famous. Famous for what? Destroying my wife's life? Famous for standing up for yourself, for showing people they don't have to accept betrayal quietly. Maybe he was right. Maybe there was something positive that could come from this disaster. But first, I needed to go home to my empty apartment and figure out how to rebuild a life that had been completely destroyed by someone I'd trusted with everything. The firewall had worked perfectly. It had protected me from further damage and eliminated the threat. Now I had to learn how to live in the system that remained.